Welcome to David and David on Real Estate. Join us as we explore the ins and outs of the real estate market.
Good morning and welcome to the David and David on Real Estate podcast. We are on episode 73, and today we have a very special guest, a really good friend of mine, Alex Orlando from NIIT. Good morning, Alex, and thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, David. Thanks for having me.
It's our absolute pleasure. Alex, you and I met a few months ago, and it's been a great relationship, and I think we have a lot of common goals. But I'm really excited because I think what you guys are doing is unbelievable. I'll let you explain a little bit about what NIIT is and what your role is with the company as well.
So thank you. Yeah, and I think we actually probably met longer than 2 months ago. If you think about it, time flies, as you said, when we're having fun, but it's probably been 5 or 6 months or longer since we first met. The last year has actually flown by in the last 3 years, right, with COVID and everything. So appreciate you again having me. My name's Alex Orlando. I'm a vice president and general manager for a company called NIIT. And right now I am focused on one of our practices called the learning technology side of things. I've been in the learning and education space for 14 years. Oh, no, actually, this is going on my 15th year. And I reside up in the area of the lovely Finger Lakes, New York, which is about a 3.5-hour drive to Toronto. I work for a company called NIIT. We're one of the top 3 largest managed training service companies in the world. We focus on helping companies run. Our core competency is helping companies run training like a business. We've been profitable, around for over 40 years. We are present in over 30 countries, have over 3,000 employees. We deal with over 75 of the top 500 Fortune 500 companies. Again, from a managed training services side of things, we're in 6 practices: the consulting and advisory, the design and development, the delivery side, learning admin, learning technology, and strategic sourcing. Our product that we're rolling out today that we're going to talk a lot about, branded as Xsel, is in that learning technology space. And so I look forward to talking more about that. But we've been around a long time. We're experts in training and education, and we bring a lot of best practices to that side of things.
So, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong. Finger Lakes area is somewhere southeast of Rochester.
Yeah. So
Lake Placid.
No. So it's right in between Rochester and Syracuse, New York.
Between Rochester,
right in the middle. In those the Finger Lakes area, the wine country, and right up Route 90, we head right into Toronto, into the QEW. So it's a pretty easy drive. I've been there quite a bit lately. Most recently around the Thanksgiving for the Ori event.
So what does NIIT stand for?
Back in the day, it was an IT company. So, National Institute of IT, in terms of training, but, we've evolved over the last 40 years so that we're much more than an IT company. We're really an outsourced training company that now, has a technology practice that builds these learning platforms that are the vehicles that you can house and deploy a lot of your training programs and services.
Did you guys get snowed in with that big snowstorm that happened the other week?
We've been so lucky where this year the grass is green. We've had just a little bit of snow. And even though we're an hour and a half where I live, and even Rochester, we're about an hour and a half from Buffalo, where they've gotten 7 feet. We really haven't gotten much snow, and it's crazy. It's very unusual.
And we're the same way. Like, we're an hour and a half the other way, and we've also, we don't have any snow on the ground, and the weather here is so different from Buffalo, and people just assume, Buffalo's one side of the lake, we're on the other side, we must get that type of weather. But the lake effect all goes to the south side, and we don't get hammered with it like they do. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and we normally, honestly, in past years, we normally do. We normally get a lot more. I mean, it's just been, I've been living in this area my whole life. I won't tell you how long that is. That would give my age away, but a long time. And I've never seen a winter where it's been this dry from a standpoint of snow. We've had rain, and I looked out next week and it's in the 40s again. It's cold this weekend. It's back in the 40s. So
Yeah.
I don't know if January is going to, we may pay for it in May with some snow.
Yeah. At some point it'll get us. So I got to ask you this question. I know, somehow whenever we do one of these podcasts, we start talking about sports one way or the other, no matter what our topic is. So are you a Bills fan?
So I'll start out by saying I'm a huge sports fan, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, or hockey. And football is my favorite sport. Notice how I didn't say right away I was a Bills fan.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, so I'm a New York Giants fan, third generation.
Really?
But if I don't cheer for the Giants, if they're not playing for each other, then I definitely cheer for the Bills. And especially this year, I mean, I love their quarterback, and I'm praying and hoping that they can win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, me too. I was just going to go to my cupboard to get all my Bills hats to put on. I don't have any Giants hats, but I've got a bunch of Bills hats. I've been a Bills fan for a long time. Going back to the day when they had a running back that used to wear number 32. I don't like to mention his name anymore.
Yeah, well, I've been to a Bill Stadium several times, mostly when they play the Giants. And, the Giants have been victorious when I've went, but this year is, I think, even a more special year since the injury of the young man from Buffalo, and just the history of a team that could, that's been in the Super Bowl and hasn't won. I hope they can put it together this year. For all those Bills fans out there, I'm praying for you.
Yeah, and just a tough year for the Buffalo area with the shooting and the snowstorms, and then what happened to DeMar Hamlin. It's just been an unbelievable year. So in the middle of that, everybody's looking for a feel-good story to come out of there, and the best way to do it is win the damn Super Bowl already. They've been good enough to do it many times, and your Giants have won a couple where they probably shouldn't have, but they managed to win it.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think the Giants have had as good a team as Buffalo has this year when they've won the Super Bowl. So,
right.
And a quarterback that's maybe, arguably the best in the business. I really like Josh Allen. So I hope they can do it.
All right. Well, that might be everything I contribute today. I just wanted to get the conversation on to
Yeah,
the
I could
Bills
talk
a
for
little
sports
bit.
forever. So, but this is not what we're here today for. Yeah.
Yeah, if we get stuck, we're going back to that topic. So,
Please.
but we do have lots of other stuff we really want to get to, Alex.
Absolutely. Alex, NIIT has a big involvement in the real estate industry, even before Xsel. And we're going to talk a little bit about what Xsel is as well, and how it's going to really change the education field and make education way more exciting and way more available and way more consistent. But what role does NIIT currently play in the real estate industry, specifically in Ontario?
Yeah, I think so. We got involved back in 2017. We won an RFP that RECO put out, and we became the exclusive designate to design and create under, with RECO's guidance, all the content and all the test questions and the simulations and everything that go around training in the pre-registration for the RECO program, and also the platform that all of it sits on. So Humber is the accredited college that we work with as a partner, and we're the designate. And so that's where we broke into the real estate space, and we've had huge success on that pre-registration side of things. And we learned a lot. At one point in time, we had about 150 people at our Toronto office, working with RECO and creating the system and the content. So
that's unbelievable. That's that's big, and I know that that contract was moved from College to Humber College, and a big basis of that was to raise the level of professionalism, to offer more hands-on training, more simulations, and to really empower agents with more information.
Yeah, what NIT brings, look, we've been around 40 years. We bring a lot of best practices to training, right? We know how to write training to make it engaging. If you've ever been, what intrigues people the most in general, when you're having a conversation, if you can tell a story and people can relate to it, they remember it, right? So part of what we do is we're really good at writing training and telling stories, right? Making it engaging. Then we also understand by, using a theory called critical mistake analysis to work in the examples and simulations where people make mistakes, but then show them how to recover from that mistake, how to handle those mistakes, right? How to handle those objections, those type of things. So they're written in there. And then we also build in, things that can make it very engaging. We're involved with gamification, leaderboards, badges, everything around immersive learning. We have a huge gamification group, both in Sheffield, England, and in Mumbai, India. So, we have these people from All Stars that create and think about gamification all the time, and we're heavily into AR VR. So we take all those things, and depending on the situation, you have to make training engaging. It can't be point and click. And so that's what we bring. We depending on what we're doing, we can leverage all those different areas to bring really good training and content.
Well, I think that's something that our industry really needed in real estate. I think education is very fragmented and very inconsistent. And I think, every industry can really benefit from more education.
Yeah, I mean, we're in, a dozen different verticals breaking into the real estate space, as I said, back in 2017 in Canada. But what happened out of that, as we worked with the RECO program, we started to say, what does the landscape look post-registration, right? And so in the last year, about a year ago or so, maybe a little bit more, again, time flies pretty fast, we started to do some research, and we really talked to dozens and dozens of brokerages, including yourself, large and small. We talked to many industry coaching leaders, dozens of real estate agents and SMEs, and it kind of came up to 7 or 8 key challenges that were in the space. And we put our heads together and we said, you know what, we can solve these challenges, these training and education challenges in the post-registration space by creating this platform of services that we branded Xsel. And some of the, I'm sure if I were to say some of these, these challenges where both from a brokerage and an agent standpoint, training was all over the place. Compliance training was monotonous and an administrative nightmare. Training itself isn't engaging, right? It doesn't keep the agent engaged and wanting to learn, right? It didn't have customized onboarding and learning paths so that you could both train the new agent coming in, but also offer some things for the agents who want to increase their business from where they are. And it was, multiple systems were being used, and there was no way to connect, training and performance, right? A big thing is, hey, when I get trained, and especially from a brokerage viewpoint, if I'm spending money on training or the agents is it helping the brokerage, or is it impacting the agent's performance, right? And so we bring some of this strong AI technology that we have. Xsel was born to solve these challenges and evolve to the challenges that will continue to take place, like, for example, right now in the marketplace, right?
Absolutely. And listen, right now the market is down. Number of transactions are down, and agents are finding themselves with more time. And we're strongly encouraging our agents in the brokerage level that they need to take this time to invest in themselves and invest in systems and education, so they can prepare themselves and they can drive and create demand in the marketplace.
And so let me comment
And
on
I
that
think
because I think,
there's,
oops, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. I just wanted to add as sort of part of a question to you, too, from what David's saying. Part of it is they have time right now to access training, and they should make use of that time or figure out how to create a market when a market doesn't exist. But the other part is they have to practice differently as a real estate agent in the market that we're now in compared to what they've been in the past. Like their negotiating techniques have to get better. Their drafting of conditions have to improve. There's a lot of things they have to improve and they need training on. And we've discussed this in our previous episodes that we've done, how there's so many agents that have grown up in the last 2 to 5 years that aren't used to doing that because they grew up in a market where you didn't have to negotiate agreements purchase sale. It was like best price won the offer, and that was the end of the story. Pick the closing date, get the best price, you win or you lose, and that was it. Now we're in a different market. They need that type of training and access to it as well, improve those type of skills.
Yeah. I mean, first, what we're trying to do with our Xsel platform is make the training readily available so they can find it, whatever that is, because that was a big challenge in the marketplace, is that training's all over the place. And when they're in the flow of work, how do I access the training? Now, from what you said, it's the travesty that when things slow down, even from a brokerage standpoint or an agent standpoint, sometimes training isn't thought of as making that investment. But this is actually when you really do want to look for however you want to skill yourself, whether it's, how can I grow my business, right? How can I get more leads? And how can I understand some of the technology, the social medias, how can I get skilled up better, right? To utilize the tools that are out there or find new tools that I haven't been using so that I can do those things in a tough market, and also look for other things that could increase or expand your portfolio of clients, right? So if you're used to dealing with one certain type of client that always purchase residential, maybe you start to look for clients that purchase investment property, right? That you don't normally deal with. So, so how can you look at yourself and in these times expand, the type of client that you're dealing with, or skill yourself so that you can be better prepared, especially when it comes back around. I mean, we were in some glory days, right, in the last few years where the agents didn't have to make a phone call and all the leads were coming into them. And now you've got to figure out how to find those leads again. And that's what we want to do with our platform and our partnerships. On our platform, we're partnering with many different leaders in the industry so that we can have everything in one place, so that if an agent is looking to do exactly what I just said, we're going to be able to provide those services for them.
Yeah, and Alex, I love the fact that you guys use gamification and AI to really bring the best in terms of what's working currently in the marketplace, especially if you're able to link the performance factor and link it to the education. Then you can put a specific course or training in front of the agents where they're going to get the most bang for their money, they're going to get the biggest results, and it's really going to improve their business in a big way. And to me, that's really important because there's a lot of noise out there in the education field as well. And sometimes agents, don't know what is going to work for them and what is actually going to help improve their business or not.
Yeah, we've and we're not new to this. So when I describe the AI and the platform, and the ability to download information from your, you download, I guess is the right word, from your, say your CRM system or wherever your performance indicators are from a brokerage or an agent standpoint, and pull it in and start to relate to, the training that you're doing and the performance. We've had success with this, without mentioning a company, but one example is in the insurance industry. We've had great success where, over the last 5 years, we've worked with a company to help, in terms of a platform and provide services that did exactly that. And, we found that we ended up creating a digital academy for this group, but we measured it, and it actually, we had a 20% increase in the average productivity and ticket size of the business sold. So, that's one measurement of, we worked with this group to educate their agents, to provide some services. And by the way, that wasn't just over the last several years, that was in over 30 countries. So that wasn't a small sample size. This was a huge sample size of one example where we had success. And what we did find too, that we had a 10% higher retention rate. So if you start from a brokerage perspective, and looking at it from both sides, broker and agent, if you start to, if you have some services in a platform that can really start to enhance the agent's performance, and they can understand how to improve at any level of experience, you're going to have a happier agent. You're going to have better retention. And if you have something like this, I'll say it also is that, you're going to have, it's a great recruiting tool, right?
Absolutely. I mean, look, education in our industry has been challenging, to say the least, and I think I have to compare our industry to other professional industries. I have to compare our industry to, accountants and lawyers and doctors. In a lot of respect, realtors, earn as much money, or in some cases more money, than some of these professionals, right? But why is the education not at the same level as those professions? Why are realtors not investing and not, being mandated to educate themselves more? I, as a broker owner, as a leader in this industry, I want to see more education for realtors. I think education is the single most important differentiating factors in our industry that's going to make the biggest difference. And our industry receives a lot of negative press from the media, and I think it should, because I think we need to raise the level of professionalism for agents, right? So Alex, when you and I were introduced back in March, I honestly, I cannot wait for Xsel to launch in Canada and to see what you guys do in the education sector, because I think post registration education is extremely, extremely important.
Yeah, I think, so based on the last year and a half of research that we've done in the Canadian market, everything you said is kind of true. And I certainly don't have the answers of why it is where it is in terms of the past, but I know there's a lot of room for improvement, right? And in terms of, and I think a lot of it is just getting out there, right? And showing that education and training can really have an impact, right? With an agent. And also, I think I won't say anything more about that, but I think that's the key, is just getting out there, showing that it can have an impact, showing examples as we get out there of the trend of improving, upskilling and improving the performance of both a brokerage and an agent. And, we hope to be launched. So, as all technology things go, things have taken a little longer, and then we have some new regulations coming out with TRESA here coming up, right? And changes in that in terms of some deltas. And so we went back and we're tweaking some of the foundational training that we have. We're working with our partners to get their stuff up. And as you go through the testing process, you always find a few things, especially as we're getting our champion client up right now that is a brokerage that has 750 agents. As they go through and do UAT testing, we're finding things. So before we hit the marketplace live, we want to make sure we've worked out those kinks, tweaked it, and so we have the best success once everybody sees it, which it looks like it will be towards the end of February, if not sooner.
Yeah, you know what? It's like the real estate profession is no different than any other profession. I think some professions do a better job than others about mandating continuing education. But even in my business, the Law Society mandates a certain minimum that we have to do every year in continuing education. Some of it is substantive content, some of it's professionalism content and ethics and inclusionary things, and there's different levels you have. So, but when you talk to other lawyers and even the young lawyers and everybody sort of does the minimum, not the maximum. Everybody does what they have to do every year to make sure that they've completed, because you can't practice unless you've signed a declaration you've completed those minimums. But the minimums, is just getting your feet wet and what you really should be doing every year, just to not to learn new stuff, just to stay on top of the current things. And then the laws keep changing. It's really hard to get people to continuously train and continuously improve and do it no matter what the profession is. So the more companies like yours can give us tools that are easily accessible and interesting to use, instead of just attending a boring webinar that David Korman's doing,
Yeah, I think,
like, it's going to make a difference.
yeah, most people associate, and I'll generalize this, but most people associate training with you're sitting, listening to somebody speak and it's pretty boring, right? Or you're going through some point and click stuff. But, once you experience some of the things that we do, right, with all the ways I described of how we make training interesting, and the topics are relatable, right? Everybody is looking for something, and it's not just compliance training or that mandatory stuff. I think as we get out there, we've had some success in other verticals because of that. And we've had huge success. I could give you case studies and other examples of how we've just, once people have gone through our training, their performance is really improved, or other business indicators, right, have really improved. And that's because, again, there is a secret sauce to getting adoption with training. And we have that. And that's what's made us successful and continued to grow, over the years. And I think the other thing that's unique not necessarily unique, but it definitely unique from a standpoint of, you also can't dictate, right? In your field, real brokerages can't dictate, other than stuff that they have to from compliance, for people to take training. Where in other companies, if your employers, employee relationship, you at least get people to the classroom because they have to, because you're telling them they have to. And then when they see how great the training is, they want more of it, right? But in this case, we've got to get them there because they have a preconceived message, and they don't necessarily have to do, what the brokerage is telling them. So I think once we start to get the agents out there and they see the kind of training, and we get results in terms of how we can help them improve their performance, right? Improve and grow their business, because that's what the serious real estate agents are really trying to grow their business. And the new ones are trying to get out of the gate sooner. And I think that's also something we can help with our services is, right, a really good onboarding program is extremely important to getting everybody out of the gate sooner, quicker, and keeping them feeling like there's going to be a good future, right, in this profession. So onboarding is very important, and that's a big part of our services, and what we say is important.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been a part of a number of different brokerages throughout my career. And when I first started in this industry, I had the privilege of mentoring one of the biggest broker owners in the Greater Toronto area. And at the time when I got my license, he actually lost his driver license. So I was his personal driver for the first 7 months of my career. And I shadowed him for the first 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. And what I learned through that time period was invaluable. It probably gave me a 10-year head start. That's one of the reasons why I got involved in my brokerage. It's a way for me to give what was given to me when I first started my career. But, without that education, without that experience at the beginning, I can't imagine a new realtor being handed their license and saying, hey, here, go practice now. It's tough out there, and it's an ever evolving industry, and there's so many different facets to it. And there's so many different things you have to learn. You have to know a little bit of law. You have to know a little bit of psychology. You got to be able to read people. You got to understand contract law. You got to know the real estate market. Like there's so many variables that come together. And I think education is so important. And Alex, when you talk about onboarding package, right, making sure that each new realtor has a consistent path to success when they join the brokerage or when they graduate, that is so important because it ensures their success and their longevity in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, from some of the research we saw, and again, I'm generalizing, right? Because it's not every brokerage or every instance, but that there was a real thirst, right, for being able to have these, to have customized onboarding path for the different skill sets that are coming on board, whether it's a new agent or, coming right out of registration, or an agent coming from another brokerage. Getting them onboarded and getting them that education is key to springboarding them, right, to having better performance sooner, which also leads to a happier agent, which also leads to retention, right? So all those things. So people we just have to continue to change the mindset of what education and learning and, education and training can really do for you, right? Because it comes into play whether you're a new agent or whether you're experienced and you want to take it to another level, right? You've got to go out and find ways to do that. You've got to educate yourself. I mean, it's proven, right? In other verticals that in through history, right? If you can skill yourself, you're going to perform better. But you still have to have, I will say this because I'm a dinosaur. I mean, you still have to be ready to work hard. You've got to have a good work ethic. You've got to outwork your competition if you want to be successful. Those, you can provide, you've got to want to be successful, right? You've got to want to try new things. You've got to come out of your comfort zone in many cases. And those are for across any industry, right? And so, as agents, you've got to do those things. Things aren't just going to happen, right? You're going to have to put the time in. But if you do, and you get the right education, the right training, the right skilled, you will perform better. You will reach your goals, but you got to stay with it, right? You got to have persistence too. Those are some traits you just have to have if you want to be successful.
Well, I think one of the keys is that you're going to be able to show an agent that, statistically with your data collection and across different industries, how it actually does improve them. It's not just a theory. It's like, it's easy to say, yeah, if you learn more, you're going to know more, you're going to be better. You say, no, you're going to earn more money. Here's people have taken this training are at this level. People that haven't taken the training are at a different level. This is a faster growth. You could show them that statistically, right? So I think that helps feed the conversation as well.
Yeah, I think it's the power of analytics, right? And how you display those analytics. And we can pull all kinds of information into our Excel platform and then do correlations. And the system, by the way, it will also provide recommendations. So, the brokerage can analyze the data, the agent can analyze their own data, and then the system analyzes the comprehensiveness of everything there and can make recommendations. So I think that's the key. We're going to be able to say, hey, look at this group of performers, and here's some of the training and education they've done to get to where they are.
Okay.
Maybe this will work for you. Maybe it
Right.
won't, but why don't you try it, right? So that data and how you slice it up and how you, show it in terms of analytics is powerful for all those areas.
So I have a base question in terms of Xsel and how you're going to, and how this is going to work. Is this something that's going to just be available, agent by agent can access it, or is it available to the brokerages and the brokers have to sign on and then they provide it to the agents? Or how is that going to work?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. I appreciate it because it's important. Right now our go-to-market strategy is that we're approaching brokerages, and the brokerages purchases a subscription plan, and then now they have all their agents accessing the subscription plan that they purchased, and the platform is actually white labeled for that brokerage. So it's customized and white labeled, so it's their platform, right? Private labeled, customized, and then they get all their agents on it. And then while they're on the platform, there's many free services, and there's also paid services. There's paid courses, there's partners that we're going to have on there, industry leading coaching, providers and other services that the agents can pay for. So that some of them are, that are paying for outside the system today, that where we can centralize everything so they don't have to get off the platform. Once the brokerage purchases it, the agents have access to everything, the subscription plan, I'm struggling with that word today, subscription plan that the brokerage has purchased.
So it's customized. So David, you're deciding what you want to offer to your agents as a brokerage and create a program, and certain things they're going to access for free, or certain things that other brokers, may require their agents to pay for. You might not be. You might be providing additional free services to them, and then at some level, it's pay as you go service.
So let me give you an idea. Like, so you have this platform, and first of all, it's cloud based, it's mobile enabled, and have all the full support on it. But it's going to have all kinds of different content, right? So it's a curation. The platform is a curator. So the brokerage can load, again, thinking of centralization, the brokerage can load up all their content that they have that they want onto the platform. The NIT has created a lot of different foundational content and other content that we'll be continuing to create that will be on the platform. And then we've went out and got several different partners in the industry that are industry coaching leaders, or that have different services, that have different courses or content or video bites that are going to be that get uploaded to the system. And the agents will have a choice, right, to whether they want it. Some of that's free content and some of that's paid courses that they can take. Some of them are range from anywhere from a $29 course to a $3,000 course, depending on what you're into or what it's for. And then also, you're going to be able to have on the platform, there's a lot of engaging tools that allow you to have the brokerage can assign coaches or mentors. And so the agents can go through some live role plays, right? So you can start to do role plays on the system and say, how do I get over this objection? How do I get over that objection? And then they can be recorded, and you can, if you want, you can watch others and how they did simulations and got through those particular objections or whatever that role play is. So the system is going to allow you to be able to the brokerage to have all their events and everything related to their whole calendar, right? And so it becomes a calendar and notification system and a networking system so that they can keep in contact with all their agents in one area about all the events that are going on. And again, I talked about having the onboarding and learning paths. So inside of this platform, there's a lot of content, paid or free, and there's a lot of tools in here that allow the brokerage to interact with the agent, or the agents to interact among themselves with a network to help improve or understand what's going on in the marketplace. That was a little, hopefully that made sense. I was a little all over the place with that.
Well, I think accountability is important, right? And I think finding accountability partners that have the same goals and, want to improve their business and want to level up together is very important as well, right? And a lot of the times it's easier done on a platform like NIIT than it is on the brokerage level, because on the brokerage level, some agents come in, some agents don't come in, some agents work from home, and the feeling can be there can be some disconnection there, right? But on a platform like NIIT, if you can connect with a like-minded realtor that has the same goals and wants to improve their business or take their business to a similar level, then that accountability factor plays a big role in the types of education and how that education experience is led by both partners. So I think that's great, Alex. I mean, if any other company came on and said, hey, they're embarking on this journey to create such a big platform, I would say, wow, good luck to you. Like, there's a lot of moving parts there. There's a lot to do, but I'm really excited to be a part of this and to see what NIIT comes up with and to actually, have the platform launched. Been waiting for a really long time, and it's something that I think is very much needed in the industry.
Yeah, and we're excited to have it out there too. We know we've seen the impact we've had in other verticals with doing something like this. And so we know that we can have a similar impact in this industry. And we know it's kind of a two-pronged value proposition, right? From the agents, we've been talking to everything that the agents get from it, and more, but and also the brokerages, right? From the challenges that they're having with everything all over the place. This helps centralize everything and really can become a retention and recruiting tool. And overall, help their people, help the people inside the brokerage, the ones that might be doing some other admin or compliance or taking time, help focus and grow the business more, help agents train better, right? Because now we're taking some of that administrative, non-productive time or improving it inside the brokerage. So this is, there's a twofold proposition. And then not only increasing the agent's performance, when all this happens, right, the overall brokerage performance goes up also. So there's a good value here for both the brokerage side and the agent side. We're excited about it, taking a little longer to get out there, but it's definitely going to get out there. We're looking forward to working with guys like or people like yourself and others that we've talked to. I mean, the interest in the marketplace has been outstanding. In the last 6 months, I've been out there sharing what we're going to do, and everybody wants to see a demo, understand more about it. The interest level has been very high, and we're excited to finally roll it out there so we can start to give some credentials to people so they can get hands-on and build some momentum.
Yeah, I think the challenge, just the way the industry is set up, the challenge to David and other owner brokers is the agents are all independent contractors. So you're not in an industry where you can mandate, oh, here's this great new tool to use, and you have to use it. You have to do, here's the minimum you have to do, but this is the level we need. You can't do that. All you can make it is available, right? So it's really important for it to be sold properly, and they have to see the end game and that there will be results, because each one has to make a choice to do it or not do it, right? No matter, it's the old, you can lead the horse to water, you can't make them drink it, right?
Yeah, I think that's what I was, about a few minutes ago, I was talking about, in other verticals we've been in, you have an employer relationship, but in
Right.
this one, it's that independent contractor. And I think you just have to, it's going to take NIIT, the brokerage, and the agent, right, all working together, showing them examples of how this, can be successful, how it's been successful. And I'm confident that as we get it rolling, it's like anything that you put in, any service though, or any platform, right? It doesn't just get put in, right? And all of a sudden, yeah, it's going to take, the brokerage has to be behind it, right? To working with us so that the agents can understand and get good training about what the platform can do, and then give them great examples of where it can help them. And then as we get success and get testimonials, right, you start to build that credibility that this is really going to work, right? And I've been around doing some of these things a long time. It'll evolve. What we're looking at today and where it may be a year from now, based on the feedback you get and everything that's going to happen in the landscape or the marketplace, we'll evolve and make changes and adapt the services and the platform so that can be more and more, important and have more of an impact with the agents as we get feedback.
So what's the timing looking like approximately for this?
Yeah, I think, is, again, we're in that final phase of tweaking it based on testing, right? And we're getting our first, I call it our champion brokerage, because it's really the brokerage who it was helping us beta test it. And that brokerage is going up this month with 750 agents. And so that's, we're not getting all the 750 agents up at once. So through the month of the rest of this month and part of February, we'll be testing it with them, getting their feedback, making those changes. It's a process, right? I'd like to snap my fingers. And so our our technology people will say, hey, it's going to be ready by the 1st of February. But realistically, for us to give credentials and for people to get hands-on, I would say at the end of February. However, we're starting to do some demos of the system now. And so we're going to be out there lining up people who have shown interest in the past, lining up those meetings where we can actually demo the system for them. Can't give them the hands-on yet, but we can actually really get, instead of a sales presentation, we can now get them into the system, show them what it looks like, and see some of the features.
And is that Champion Brokerage an Ontario brokerage?
Yes.
So
Yes,
it's this flow, because I assume it's going to be, you do this, it's going to be different in each province. It's and even in different markets, there'll be differences too.
Yeah, I think there's
different.
There's an overlap, right? There's a good large portion of it that's the same in every province, and obviously there'll be some tweaks as you go into different provinces. We're rolling it out in Ontario right now, which has the largest amount of agents, right, for all the provinces. So
awesome. Well, we're really looking forward to this, Alex. As I keep saying, I think it's like the 4th time I said that on this podcast. I watch some of these podcasts and I just find myself bobbing my head and agreeing to everything. But I'm happy that the industry is evolving, and I'm happy that we're working together to raise the bar. And it's great to have companies like you as well. And we're definitely going to be coming on board. I think I mentioned that to you, Alex, from day one. So, I'm really happy to announce that Sutton Summit Realty is going to be adopting the Xsel platform for all our agents. We can't wait to roll it out and get it out there. And we're certainly very excited. So stay tuned. And you heard it today from Alex, what's happening in the industry and their involvement, how the industry is going to be changing from an education point of view. And I think it's only going to keep getting better.
David, thank you for having both Davids. Thank you for having me. Pleasure meeting you, Mr. Korman. I look forward to working more with you, David, and the rest of the brokerages and agents in Ontario. And hopefully I did well today so that you'll invite me back again to talk to you guys. I'll know if I don't get another invitation, but I can thank you again. Everyone, look for Xsel coming soon.
All right, Alex, we're going to do another podcast right after the Bills win the Super Bowl, just to talk about the Bills. Right.
Well, I hope that's a great premonition. There'd be a lot of Bills Mafia fans pretty happy about that.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and stay tuned for more exciting news. And as always, any questions for David Korman and I, feel free to reach out. We always want to hear from you. A lot more people have been tuning in, so keep spreading the news, and hopefully we can all raise the bar together in the industry.
Hey, Dave, is it okay if I drop my email?
Absolutely.
Sure.
You know what? We didn't do that, and I almost forgot. So you can get in contact with me at aorlando@niit.com. You can see a Xsel website at www.xsel.app. And so feel free to drop me an email or look at the website and ask for more information. Would appreciate it. Love to talk to you. So thanks again for having me, David.
Awesome, Alex. And we're going to include
perfect, Alex.
all your info in the description as well. So everybody's going to be able to get a hold of you as well. And, I hope that more brokerages jump on the Xsel platform, because we need to really work together in this industry to keep raising the bar and keep getting agents excited. But a topic that in the past hasn't been that exciting. Thank you.
I agree.
For joining
Take
us.
care. Thank you again.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.